Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, alhamdulillah, wa salatu wa salam ala Rasulullah. We continue reading from Imam Al-Ghazali's The 99 Beautiful Names of God, Al-Maqsad Asna fi Sharh Asma Allah al-Husna, translated by David Burrell and Nazir Dahir. We have reached number 32, Al-Khabir. This is page 98. So Imam Al-Ghazali rahimahullah said, Al-Khabir. Here it is translated into the totally aware. One might add the acquainted with every single thing, no matter how big or small, with every action by all creatures at once. I might simply add this. So Al-Khabir is one from whom no secret information is hidden, for nothing goes on in the realms of heaven or earth, no atom moves, no soul is stirred or calmed without his being aware of it. Practically everything, all the universals and all the particulars. It has the same meaning as the omniscient, yet when knowledge, when ilm is related to hidden secrets, is called awareness, khibra. And the one who possesses it is he who is aware of everything. Counsel, tanbih. Man's share in this name lies in his being aware of what goes on in this world. This world is his heart. His world is his heart. Again, man's share in this name lies in his being aware of what goes on in his world. His world is his heart, his body, and the hidden things by which his heart is characterized. Deception and treachery, preoccupation with earthly things, harboring evil intent while putting on a good front, or adopting a decorous show of sincerity while being devoid of it. Only one who is extremely experienced knows these characteristics. One who is aware of his lower self and experienced in it, who knows its deceit, its deluding, and its process, so that he is on his guard against it and has gone to work to oppose it, adopting a watchful vigilance over it. Among men, such a one deserves to be called totally aware. But of course, if he knows one thing or two about himself, that doesn't mean that he knows every single thing about himself. Some people might be delusional. They start believing themselves other than the reality of themselves, other than the reality of their hearts. People who claim to have, of course it's idiomatic in Arabic, those who claim to have, literally they would say, I have a white heart, but it's not about color. They mean that my heart does not hold any grudges against anyone. I don't hurt anyone. But by saying this, they are trying to compensate for the lack of prayer, the lack of fasting, the lack of no. So practically no religious spiritual rituals, but they would like to compensate by saying that they have by being nice to others. Their heart is good. That's not really. I'm sure they know better than this. But to what degree our knowledge is limited, and it's relative, and it's anything but having the same. You say جدير بأن يسمى خبيرا, but doesn't mean that he's al-khabir like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Our knowledge is extremely limited. Al-Halim here in translation, it has been translated into the mild. Mild really comes between two extremes. Okay, but probably if it is translated into most forbearing, the etymology of Halim, of course, if we talk about what's the verb, like what is it? If we talk about the man's share, please pay attention if you know Arabic, if you intend to learn Arabic, that Hulm is having a vision, like while you are sleeping, and Hilm is what we are concerned with here. We talk about Hilm is equivalent to Ana, having patience, taking your time, not if anything happens in front of you, you are in control of you are controlling yourself, not you are not over. Your reaction remains internal, if you will. It does not show on your face, and definitely your body does not betray you. You don't act immediately. Maybe sometimes you have to. This is we talk about if somebody says something hurtful, or. But of course, if someone falls into water and it's a child who does not know how to swim, you need to jump into the water. But of course, you need to be a swimmer. But there are other conditions where you don't have to be an expert. You only need to act immediately. So Al-Halim is one who observes the disobedience of the rebellious and notices the opposition to the command. Yet anger does not incite him, nor wrath seize him, nor do haste and recklessness move him to rush to take vengeance, although he is utterly capable of doing that. As Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Most High, said, if God should take men to task for their wrongdoing, He would not have on the earth one creature that crawls. ولو يأخذ الله الناس بما كسبوا ما ترك على ظهرها من دابة crawls, that's a limitation probably. That moves probably is more appropriate. You have creatures we walk in general. There are those who fly, there are those who swim, there are those. But flying, walking, and swimming, these are movements. So now going back to the text, if God should take men to task for their wrongdoing, He would not live on the earth, one creature that crawls, that moves. It means if punishment is instant, just add to this that all the children of Adam are sinners. Just imagine this. So we have 8 billion people today on earth. Let's assume that half of them are adults. They are morally, legally responsible. They are sane. They are everything's is good about them, except that the 8 billion people, one way or the other, they made a mistake, and not a judgmental mistake, but a mistake in terms of crossing the red line and committing a sin. Had the punishment been immediate, then no one would be left on earth. Imagine all those snipers, all those pilots who fly the jet fighters and drop 2,000 pound bombs on innocent people. All these gangsters, all these so had the punishment. So the when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is because he is, but when simply because he is the Halim, then people are given a respite, they are given a chance to repent, to mend things, to fix things, to be on the straight path. Man's share in the attribute of Halim, of being on the most forbearing, the mild, is evident. For forbearing is among the fine qualities of men, so it would be superfluous and prolix to explicate. Al-Azim, here it's been translated as the tremendous, though Imam Al-Ghazali begins with a text that alludes to a certain use originally. For example, he said, Al-Azim, you should know that in its first imposition, the term tremendous applies only to bodies. For it is said, this body is tremendous, or this body is more tremendous than that body. If it is more extended than the other in its parameters of length, width, and depth, tremendous is then divided into two, or divided into what fills the eye and captures its attention, and what sight, number two, what sight cannot be conceivably or cannot conceivably encompass in all of its extremities, such as earth and heaven. So an elephant is tremendous, but sight can certainly encompass its extremities. Therefore, it is tremendous by comparison to what is smaller than it. So far as the earth is concerned, however, it is inconceivable that sight encompasses its extremities, and so with the heavens. This is the absolutely tremendous with regard to visual perception. It has been translated by rather instead of tremendous, it has been translated into the magnificent and also the supreme, al-azim. And definitely we would theologically would never use tremendous to describe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala in the sense of a three-dimensional or four-dimensional object. Moreover, you should realize that there are differences. Why we don't describe Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with these attributes? Because nothing is like unto Him. Moreover, you should realize that there are differences as well among the objects of intellectual perception. Some of them, intellects can comprehend in their essential reality. While in the case of others, intellects fall short of that. Let's see the Arabic text. So again, and those of which intellects fall short are divided into A, what some intellects may conceivably comprehend, while most fall short of comprehending them, and B, what is inconceivable in principle that any intellect could comprehend in it its essential reality, the absolutely tremendous, the absolutely magnificent, the absolutely supreme, the supreme, which exceeds every intellectual limit, so that comprehending its essence is inconceivable, namely God Most High, as we have already explained in the first part. Counsel can be among men, it is prophets and scholars who are tremendous. العظيم العباد الأنبياء والعلماء. Maybe the word great, so that when a wise man knows something of their attributes, his heart is filled with awe. In fact, his heart is so overflows with awe that no room is left for anything else. A prophet is tremendous with respect to his community, a master, sheikh, with respect to his disciple, and a professor with respect to his student, whose intellect falls short of comprehending the range of his master's attributes. For if he were equal to him, or surpassed him, the master would no longer be tremendous by comparison with him. Still, every use of tremendous assigned to something other than God, great and glorious, falls short of being absolutely tremendous. So it is manifested by comparison of one thing below another. The tremendum of God Most High is the exception, for He is tremendous absolutely, not through comparison. So for the when we attribute ta'zeem to anyone other than Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, already it has defect. Not an absolute azim, not it is relative in this case here. Nothing except Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, nothing except His greatness, if you will, for He is the absolutely magnificent, supreme, or as it is translated here, tremendous, but of course without alluding to the material or the 3-dimension or the 4-dimension including time. فإنه العظيم مطلق لا بطريق الإضافة. With this this is the end of Al-Halim. Al-Ghafur is a short entry, and we'll read that too. Al-Ghafur, the all-forgiving, the oft-forgiving, relates to the meaning of the one who is full of forgiveness, Al-Ghaffar. Remember that we sin, and we often sin, or we continue to sin, or and for one small sin, the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is forgiving, it's enough. If someone simply through his or her action, including speech, which is an action, if they commit one sin, the fact that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is Ghafur, it's enough. Ghaffar for those who continue to sin, because they need that the fact that God is oft forgiving. So Al-Ghafur relates to the meaning of the one who is full of forgiveness, Al-Ghaffar, yet it bespeaks of a kind of amplitude which he who is full of forgiveness does not convey. For he who is full of forgiveness represents an emphatic form derived from forgiveness, connected to repeated forgiveness one time after another. As Fa'al bespeaks a great deal of Ghaffar, Fa'al, a great deal of activity, Fa'al from Fa'al, while Al-Fa'ul conveys its excellence, perfection, and completeness. He is all forgiving in the sense that he is the perfection and completeness of forgiveness and forgiving, to the point of reaching the highest level of forgiveness. Moreover, the discussion of this has already taken place. Next is Ash-Shakur, but this inshallah we will postpone until the next session. Until then, سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك نشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت نستغفرك ونتوب إليك. والسلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته.